Well, hello everyone. I'm Stephanie McGuire. I'm the Chief Community Relations Officer for SC Thrive. And today I'm really excited about this segment of Real People, Real Conversations. We have Connolly Ann Ragley, who is the Director of Communications and External Affairs with the South Carolina Department of Social Services under the leadership of DSS State Director Michael Leach. Connolly Ann obtained her master's in public administration jointly from Clemson University as well as the University of South Carolina. And she's also a graduate of Clemson University with a dual bachelor degree in communications studies and political science. So basically that means she's super, super smart. And that's why I asked her to come on today to talk about the real conversation of the Healthy Bucks program. I think it's an amazing program. So first of all, welcome, Connolly Ann.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really have looked forward to this conversation this week. And Stephanie, I just appreciate you and the team at SC Thrive asking me to join you today.
Absolutely. So tell us about the Healthy Bucks program, kind of what is it and how people can apply or qualify?
Sure, absolutely. Well, one of the things we know and that science tells us is that healthy eating is so important. I know for myself, I don't always eat the way I should. Although now that I have two small children, I'm really trying to take a more measured approach and trying to hide vegetables in their foods and really thinking about what I'm eating and what they're eating. And we know that healthy habits, when started early in life, can continue on into the future. I tell this a story quite frequently talking about Healthy Bucks. My husband was born and raised in Ohio, and I love him to pieces, but he is a steak and potato guy. That's just how they ate when they lived in Ohio. And so we've been together 11 years. We've been married for 8. And so part of my work has been trying to introduce him to other vegetables, things like Brussels sprouts and which he now eats, and spinach.
Awesome.
And really trying to change his thought about healthy eating. And so that's part of how Healthy Bucks comes into this conversation. There's states across the country that have really put forth these healthy eating initiatives for recipients who receive SNAP. And so that's in South Carolina. The program is called Healthy Bucks. And a couple of exciting announcements right now, since we're dealing with the pandemic, is because there's some incentives that DSS has decided to extend, and our state director Michael Leach has agreed to extend those incentives, which we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But it's really a way for folks who receive SNAP to really expand their benefits and to really be able to purchase fresh fruits and vegetables with those Healthy Bucks, with the incentives, and again to really stretch their food budget and really to get more bang for their buck per se. And really, I think it is important to know that there's some misnomers out there that people on SNAP just buy chips and soda, and so this is a program that we're able to help educate the public and well as recipients about ways that they can make better choices when they're purchasing their foods, and also how to cook and clean and prepare those foods and serve them to their family members.
That's so awesome. And I love this program because before the pandemic, it was like basically, like you said, kind of 2 for 1. SNAP recipients would use $5 of their SNAP EBT card, but then they would get $10 back. But now you all have extended it or increased it up to $15.
Yeah, that's right. So the first part of the pandemic, we raised it from mid-May until July 31st. And then we heard overwhelming support from not only recipients, but also nonprofits that engage folks like SC Thrive, that engage with SNAP recipients and help with the education. And so with the help of some other folks, we were able to make it work and to extend that deadline until September 30th. So, we announced the expansion and the extension of Healthy Bucks again through September 30th. And one thing we realized is that the COVID-19 pandemic has presented many challenges to farmers markets, independent farmers, and some of South Carolina's most vulnerable residents. And in response to these challenges, we want to continue this increase for the maximum Healthy Bucks SNAP incentive to the amount of $15 for eligible purchases. That's key. It's got to be eligible purchases through the end of September.
Okay.
And the purpose of this temporary adjustment is just to further combat food insecurity among SNAP recipients and to promote the economic stability for Healthy Bucks vendors. I know we saw several news articles during the pandemic of farmers who said, I've got all these fresh fruits and vegetables. I don't know what to do with them. They were essentially rotting in the fields. And so this not only helps the Healthy Bucks participants and those SNAP recipients, but it also helps the farmer as well. And so we just want to really make sure that we're helping those folks who really need it the most.
Absolutely. And I thank you for that. I think that is so exciting and people need to take advantage of it. And so how can they? So if I know a senior or I know someone who may be receiving SNAP benefits, how can they use these Healthy Bucks or how can they participate?
Sure. So one of the ways, it has to be in a participating vendor. And we have over 30 vendors participating in South Carolina. The easiest way to find if a vendor is participating near you is to go to schealthybucks.com. And that's kind of our splash page. We have some information on our main website at dss.sc.gov, but really that microsite targeted for schealthybucks.com has got a list of participating markets. And, we have those, we're working constantly to grow that number. Aiken, and we have some in Anderson, Beaufort, Charleston, Chester, Colleton. I actually visited the Colleton one a couple weeks ago when I was down at the beach with my family. Edgefield, Florence, Greenville, Greenwood, Hampton, Lee, Lexington, Orangeburg, Pickens, a couple in Richland, a couple in Spartanburg, Sumter, and Union. And I know there are many nonprofits throughout the state that have made this and are championing this effort and really trying to get additional farmers to participate, as well as maybe even a mobile market. I know I spoke with a friend of mine in Spartanburg who runs a community center, and where they're located, they're not in downtown Spartanburg. They're kind of off the beaten path a little bit. And she was just saying about what challenges she had trying to get a vendor to come out to that particular area to try to serve those folks. And she said, the need is great. And this would be kind of a great way to have a Healthy Bucks vendor participate at her location. And so I know that she just had trouble finding a farmer that was willing to do this and participate. And so hopefully, there are some mobile food boxes that can be sent her way. And there's definitely a lot of interest in some other counties that I might not have mentioned.
That's so good. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to ask, how can maybe some farmers that aren't participating, how can they participate? How can more vendors participate? Is it only for farmers, or can it be other type of food, like food distribution points? How can people participate?
Yeah, I mean, most of them are farms or farm stands. And then we also have produce boxes. And I think this is really just kind of what's coming down the pipe as far as what works as a trend. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Food Share, just because my personal experience. So I've been at DSS. I'm coming up on my 1-year mark. And before I worked in private practice in the government relations industry. And I'm also a member of the Junior League of Columbia. And so I did not know much about, I saw a sign for something called Food Share, and I didn't think anything of it. But one of the activities that we had for the Junior League was to learn more about Food Share. And so we went on a tour of their facility over by the Drew Wellness Center here in Columbia. And really, we watched a box be packed as it comes in the door, big boxes of fruits and vegetables. We watched volunteers pack those boxes. We even packed some ourselves. And from those boxes, we saw the big boxes get broken down into little boxes, and a variety of foods were being able to be shipped out for people to come and pick up. And really, that was kind of the essence of the Healthy Bucks program, was really taking, their benefits and then multiplying, or in this case, giving them a bonus. And really to see how Food Share took that, and Food Share added things like how to clean them. I think one of the things that were in the box when we visited 2 years ago for the Junior League was a bok choy. I mean, do I look like I know how to cook a bok choy, or how to clean it, how to cut it, how to pour it? I sure don't. And I have just learned. But one of the things that I think is so important for groups that operate in Healthy Bucks and nonprofits that support the program is to help educate folks about what they're getting. I know at the time, one of the boxes had a spaghetti squash in it. Well, unless, how do you cook a spaghetti squash? I mean, do you open it up and automatically it has spaghetti in it? And so I use that example in jest, but, really thinking, just because we're providing healthy fruits and vegetables, we really got to teach people how to cook them, how to prepare them, how to serve them. And if we make it easy enough, so hopefully that they will, want to continue and want to make better choices. And so that gets into, here at DSS, one of the things that we've been doing as part of our SNAP education and training is really just also sharing, healthy recipes and ways to cook these items, because it's great that people get, a big box of produce and, everybody can cut up an apple pretty much, or everybody knows how to eat a carrot. I personally like to peel mine, but, some people like just to snap them off Bugs Bunny style. But, we really have to teach people, if we want to make substantive change in our communities, we got to tell people what to do with this healthy food.
Right, absolutely. And that goes back to access and all those great things. So thank you for that. I think that's so important for people to know.
I mean, I know I get when somebody talks about cooking a spaghetti squash and you got to cut it in half and then you got to roast it and then you got to take a fork and pull, and
peel it. Yeah.
I'm a pretty good cook myself, but I get intimidated when somebody talks about it. So I think, there's a lot of good work, not only being done here at DSS, but through many nonprofits in the area.
Absolutely. And I will say, I think Food Share is a great organization too. We partner with them as well. And so it's going to be exciting to see how things evolve over the next few, months and years, and especially as people are still sheltering in place and, just practicing social distancing. I think getting access to healthy foods is so, so important. And let's face it, our state really is rural. So I was laughing because you talked about your husband being from Ohio. I'm from Ohio too. And my husband always complains that I am a steak and potatoes girl. So it must just be a Midwestern thing. I don't know, but I've been here long enough that now I'm a Southern girl. So,
sure.
So let me ask this. You were talking about kind of, farmers participating and vendors and things like that. I guess in the past, we've heard that farmers didn't participate because of maybe the wait times of things getting processed or payments getting processed, or that maybe there was some administrative things that they weren't familiar with or, that's not accustomed to. How can we help farmers get over that hump or that challenge so that we can have more farmers maybe in every single state or every single county rather, participating in this great program?
Sure. And, that's one thing that we have heard, that, the process times are longer. I will say right now during the pandemic, we had a couple of providers that notified us last week that they were experiencing some longer than usual reimbursement on invoices. And so we're definitely looking at those hands-on. I mean, one of the struggles that we have is, there's a lot of federal involvement with this program. And so sometimes our communication with the federal government is not as quickly as we'd like it to be. And so if there is a farm or a vendor that wants to participate, we've got that information on sehealthybucks.com, as well as the process of what it takes to become a Healthy Bucks vendor. One thing that, I've talked to farmers, I have a lot of friends that are in the agricultural community. And I think that there's definitely a need there. There's a desire for people to participate. There are some farmers that don't want to participate because they don't believe in whatever social program it is, which, to each their own. But it is our job at DSS, as well as, the work of many nonprofits out there, to continue to cultivate and trying to grow more people and grow the interest of the program. No pun intended on any of those gardening jokes that I weaved in there. But in all seriousness, I think as we continue to promote the program and letting people know that it's out there, I know, last week I was watching the 5 o'clock news or 6 o'clock news on WLTX, and I actually saw a Healthy Bucks commercial. And so that's part of the outreach that we're doing. Also, we're, as I said, we do our Wellness Wednesday on our social media for the department. And we just encourage folks to share and like that content as we're trying to share, healthy recipes and really, just continue to participate in the program as long as demand is there and people are using it. And we're seeing a year-over-year increase in participation. And so
awesome.
Right now, the money is in a pot of money that is directed by Proviso. And so I know there's been some rumors out there by certain groups or individuals that DSS and Director Mike Leach want to get rid of Healthy Bucks, and that's absolutely false. And it's actually the very opposite, because we are trying to expand the program. We're trying to get more vendors participating, and we're trying to get more SNAP, clients participating and using those. That's part of the reason that we extended the extra incentives through September 30th, was not only, again, to help the farmer, but also to help the families and the SNAP clients that need it most, because again, the pandemic is incredibly challenging times right now.
Absolutely. And for those, thank you so much for saying that, because we definitely don't want that program to go away. We think it's benefiting so many. I've not heard that, but I'm glad you addressed it.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that I also do our legislative work over in the General Assembly, and that's something that keeps popping up. But no, if anything, we're trying to figure out ways, to make good decisions, to make sure that that federal pot of money lasts, and that we're able to serve as many people as possible with the lowest amount of overhead as possible.
Absolutely. So a couple things that I like to say for those who don't know what the SNAP program is, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It allows individuals, low-income families, to be able to access healthy, nutritious foods. And so it's there to supplement what you currently have. It's not geared to, take care of your entire monthly food budget, but it is there to help to fill those gaps when you need it the most. And so if you don't currently receive SNAP benefits, you can reach out to SE Thrive at our 1-800 number. That's 1-800-726-8774. We have contact center agents that will help you walk through the process of applying for the SNAP program, and then you could possibly be eligible for the Healthy Bucks program. So I think that's one of the great benefits of receiving SNAP, is that there are other programs that you might be eligible for as well that can help kind of extend your SNAP budget. So with that, is there anything else that we may have missed, or anything else that you care to share?
Yeah, and since we're kind of talking about SNAP, just recently, mid-August or first part of August, I believe, the department announced that you can now use your SNAP EBT card to make online purchases.
That's right.
And yeah, so very excited about that. And one of the reasons that we, thought about this program, and we're part of a national pilot on this. And so, I like to say, moving ahead and, trying to think of before some of the other states are participating, but we're making headway. So that's good. I know a lot of people joke that South Carolina's last on everything. So we're not going to be last. We're planning ahead. And just beginning August 5th, SNAP recipients in South Carolina can use their EBT card to make online purchases of eligible food items. Again, it gets back to that eligible food items. And we're doing this in response to COVID-19. Just one thing to kind of keep awareness of is that Walmart and Amazon are currently the only providers or retailers in the state that will take online EBT payments. And I just want to be really clear that this is a federal government decision. Retailers have to be approved by the federal government to not only be a SNAP retailer, but also to take online payments. And so we're hopeful that here at DSS that there'll be other retailers in our state, because we want to try to keep those SNAP dollars in our state to stimulate our economy, for SNAP recipients to use those at our local grocers and markets. But you can use that online now. And just one thing to keep in mind, that any kind of delivery charge, you have to pay for that out of your own pocket. Any kind of delivery charges cannot be paid for with SNAP EBT benefits on your EBT card. So I always say that as a disclaimer, because we've had a couple of calls from folks who said, but wait, I was going to have my groceries delivered. No, unfortunately, that you have to pay for that service, because as it's extra. And just as a point of just more information, is we've reached out to the South Carolina Retail Association, which represents a lot of the big grocers and folks who are operating in drugstores in our state, and really just encouraging them. And they have many members that are interested in taking online payments for SNAP purchases. So I bring that up. And then also the monthly maximum benefit for SNAP and for a household. That's something that we have been able to apply for a waiver from the Food and Nutrition Service at the USDA. We received it, we applied and received March, April, May, June, July, and August. So we've had that in place the last 6 months. We don't know what the future holds for September. We are trying to find any potential waiver or any application that we can, but we won't know anything about September for a couple more days.
Well, Conley, thank you so much for today's conversation. I think it's been purposeful and just a great wealth of information. I do hope that more South Carolinians, especially staff recipients, will take advantage of this program. Again, you can go to schealthybucks.com. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Anything else you care to share?
Sure. Yeah, just to close it out, I mean, thank you to SC Thrive. I know there have been several times when I've had folks that have called me looking for help with SNAP and those kinds of questions. And, our call center there for the first couple of weeks of the pandemic was absolutely jammed up with phone calls. And so I was able to send those to a member of the SC Thrive team for some assistance there. So just appreciate the work that you guys are doing. And really just trying to make sure that we're serving the folks in South Carolina that just need a little bit of help right now.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day. This has been our segment of Real People, Real Conversations with Conley Ann Ragley from DSS and the Healthy Bucks program. Please continue to follow us on our social medias at scthrive.org. That's our website, or facebook.com/scthrive, and all the wonderful other social media outlets that are out there. We thank you for this time, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.